Welcome back to yoga. My name is Sequoia. I am here today with a beautiful flow where our key pose is the Heron. If you've never heard of this pose, that's okay. It's not used in a lot of flows, so let's get into it. You're going to need a blanket and anything you'd like for your Shavasana to be extra cozy. A strap would be very helpful for this pose, and a block or two is definitely going to be beneficial for our reverse crescent that we're going to hit a couple of times. So get yourself cozy, get your water, get your tea, get your cozies, and we'll jump in. All right. So we're going to start in child's pose, which means that you might want to put a blanket right under your knees right off the get-go. Get that extra cozy set up here. Alrighty, we're going to do this child's pose in a little bit of a different shape. So instead of a traditional child's pose where we come all the way back or wide-legged, we're going to keep our knees and our feet as close together as possible. We're going to tuck those toes under. By tucking these toes under, you're going to feel a little bit of resistance. That's exactly what we want. So we're going to come all the way down into our child's pose. It doesn't really matter where the arms are, just whatever you feel like you can maintain with this little bit of resistance on the feet. As you settle into this pose, allow yourself to take a big deep breath in and out. Grounding yourself deeper into the shape. Noticing the ways that you might be... I forgot my question. I'm going to say it one more time. How is your mind inhibiting trust in your body, and can you release more? I do try to have 3 questions throughout each yoga flow for you to sit with, so that way your active mind has something to activate around. Breathing into the soles of the feet, breathing into the ankles. There's legitimately a bunny rabbit right here eating his breakfast as we speak. He's bounding back and forth between one patch of grass and the other one. Oh my gosh. I wonder if you can hear him hopping around. Good morning, little one. Let's see if I can cut this bunny in. Oh my gosh, there's another one. Oh, I hope that works out so you guys can see the bunny rabbit. Alright. If you would like to set an intention for your practice today, feel free. We're going to take a big deep breath in, breathing in. Oh my gosh, they're getting closer. I'm surrounded. Take a big deep breath in, breathing in your intention of what you would like to practice today, what you would like to embody by the end of your practice. Taking a big belly breath in, feeling the belly push into the thighs in the shape, feeling that curvature of the low back as you get a little decompression, and exhale, sinking that chest a little bit lower into the shape. Breathing deeply, allowing everything else that no longer serves you to completely melt away and settle. We'll take about 3 or 4 more deep breaths just like that at your own pace. On your next exhale, we'll slowly begin to readjust. From tucking the toes, we're going to release those feet and open the knees a little bit wider than hip width apart. And we're going to flare the feet out to about as wide as our mat. We're going to come back for a seated hero. If this is too much on the knees, of course, please place a block underneath of the bottom at any height. That feels good to get a little bit of that stretch without any pain. We don't want any pain here forever. If that's not quite enough and you want more, you can slowly come all the way back and maybe even reach the arms all the way up for reclined hero. Just a little bit here. Breathing into the shape wherever we are. Allowing your low belly to release any tension that might be in the hip flexors or in the quads. And securing the low belly so you're not collapsing in the low back, especially if you are reclined. You want to protect that low back here. Allowing the shoulders to relax, tucking the chin a little bit for that extension through the spine. Take 3 more deep belly breaths here. Whenever you are ready, we'll slowly begin to make our way back up, creeping your way up to seated. From this seated hero pose, we're going to extend one leg forward. Actually, I'm going to do the other leg. We're going to start with our left leg forward just for continuity's sake. You might want to strap. This is where we're going to get into our first Heron pose. So if this feels like enough and you have enough tension in your extended leg, stay here. If you want just a little bit more, you can bow and come up. Really keep any dynamic movements that you would like that feel accessible here. If you want more, we're going to get into our Heron. I typically put a block under the extended legs buttock. Now just a little bit more support. And then take the strap. Don't mind my jump rope, I don't own a strap. I'm going to place that around the foot and then bring it up until you find some tension. You can of course use your hands as well, but this is just a good series of advancement, I guess, for this shape. Wherever we are, breathing into this pose, we'll hold here for a little bit. Deep breaths. Consider here, how often do you push the limits of your strength in a joyful way? Kind of returning back to that first question, how is your mind inhibiting trust in your body? And can you release more? Allowing the hip flexors to breathe here. We're not holding on and scrunching, we're really melting in and allowing gravity to do the work. Our only support is very much our left arm holding. Oh, I cannot get enough of this. This bunny rabbit's literally right behind the tripod. He's just eating the grass. Good morning, little dude. Couple more deep breaths, you're doing great. We'll see if we can lift just a little bit more for this last big deep breath. And exhale, release nice and slow. Remove the block if you placed a block there. And we're going to come up into a low lunge with that right foot back. We're going to lift our arms all the way up, low crescent pose. We're going to hold here, driving those hips forward as much as feels supportive, keeping that knee over the ankle. If that means you got to step out a little bit more, do so. And breathe into it, feeling that stretch from the shoulder to the hip, keeping toes active if you'd like, or let them relax, entirely up to you. And get into it. You can pulse, you can rock. If you need a little bit more movement here, you can place the hands on the thigh. We're really just loosening up for a couple bigger poses we're moving into. Rotate just for perspective. We're going to go into a little sway. It might be good to have your block here and accessible. From our low lunge crescent pose, we're going to clasp the hands at the top and we're going to go for a little sway off to one side. If you feel like you're a little bit wobbly or want to dive a little bit deeper, this is where the block comes in. You can place it on the outside of that left leg, lifting that right arm all the way up, feeling that deep stretch and driving the hips forward to get a little bit more arch in the body, deepening the stretch into the psoas. Breathing deeply into the stretch wherever we are. And inhale, we're going to bring those hips back into alignment, arms back to center. And we're going to go off to the other side. Once again, maybe transferring a block over, or if you have two. I only own one. You'd think as a yoga teacher I'd own a lot more supplies. I don't. Lifting that left arm over, deep breaths, driving those hips forward as much as you would like. Deepening just a little bit more for one more breath. And exhale, realigning the hips, bring the arms back to center. I'm going to rotate just for perspective. We're going to lift that back knee if we want to work on some strength. If you don't want to, you can keep that back knee low. I'm going to drop mine down. We're going to go for a revolved crescent pose. We're going to plant our right hand down next to our left foot, opening that left arm up to the sky. Twist, looking up to those left fingers. Deep breaths. If you have that knee down, just continue that twist. Your arm might go a little bit further back, and that's okay. Wherever we are, breathing deeply. Couple more breaths. And exhale, release. We're going to sweep those arms completely up and we're going to go back into a peaceful warrior with our knee low. So we might want to place our block towards our right heel. We're going to lift our arms up and drop that right hand to our block. Slide that left leg long, get a little deeper, driving those hips up to the sky, and breathe. If this feels like too much and you're not quite there, it's okay. You can, of course, just place the hand on the hip and get a very similar stretch just like that too. Couple more breaths. exhale. We're gonna remove our block. We're gonna go for a very unique transition here, okay? Just bear with me. With that right hand towards that right heel, we're gonna drop down a little bit more, rotate that right leg in, and pivot into a side plank. I'll do that transition one more time, okay? From our peaceful warrior, we're gonna pivot our right heel towards our left heel, drop that right hand down, plant that left foot, and pop up into a side plank. We're gonna hold here. You're doing great. I know this is not the easiest flow in the world. You're killing it. Keep it up. Keeping the core engaged, drawing the pelvic floor up towards that belly button, keeping those thighs engaged. And exhale, releasing that left hand down. And we're gonna drop down and cobra. All the way down to the belly, elbows on either sides of the rib cage, and pull the mat towards you, getting that nice spine decompression. Look up to the sky. And we'll exhale, release, and come all the way back through to our tight-toed child's pose. Getting those knees together, getting those feet together, those toes together, and come all the way back. I should have mentioned this before. If this feels like too much on the toes, you can always roll up a blanket or even place a pillow in just a little crook of the feet for that extra support like that as well. Depending on which way you roll the blanket up, you'll get a little bit more height or a little bit less height. You can see this way, have a little bit more height there. Breathing into this child's pose. Begin to tune into the systems of the body, noticing your heart rate, the pace of your breath. If you feel like you're breathing really heavily, just tune into it. We're not changing anything, just observing. We've built up a little bit of heat here. Actually, I'm going to lose the hoodie. Noticing the temperature of the body here. We're going to take 3 more breaths here, tuning back into the intention that you set at the beginning of class. Breathing that in throughout the entirety of your body. And slowly come up out of that child's pose. Open the knees a little bit wider than hip width, and opening up the feet about as wide as your mat. We're going to come all the way back into that reclined hero once again. If this is too much, placing the block underneath of the bottom, and seated here. Or come all the way back into reclined. Deep breaths in the shape wherever you are. Keeping the core engaged as much as you need to protect the low back. Breathing into the quads and the hip flexors, allowing everything that does not need to hold here to release, and everything that you need to engage to feel supported, not tight. Deep belly breaths. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here, feeling the belly rise and fall. Whenever you meet that 3rd breath, we'll slowly begin to creep all the way back up into our seated hero. We're going to readjust a little bit. We're going to move towards our heron shape. We're going to place our bottom on our feet and then extend our right leg out in front. Again, if that is enough and we want to sit right here, hold that. It's perfectly beautiful on its own. If you want to move towards that heron, we're going to take our block underneath of our right buttock, finding some sort of alignment, taking our strap, if we were using our strap, taking it around that right foot and lift. Deep breaths here. We're going to hold. Channeling the strength of your entire body here, challenging it in the ways that you can. Allowing the little bits of muscle that are holding on, that don't need to hold, to release, checking in with those hip flexors. If you're holding in your soles of your feet, let the feet breathe. They can wiggle, they can play. We're not holding on there. Sitting up nice and tall. We'll take 3 more deep breaths. On your 3rd breath, we're going to lift just a little bit higher. Hold. And exhale. Rock forward into our low lunge, removing our block. Finding your alignment. Lifting those arms up, low crescent. If you did so on the other side, maybe placing those hands down on that knee, finding some support that way. Wherever we have an arch in the low back, we really want to keep the core engaged so we're not collapsing into that space. So just being mindful of how much you're driving your hips forward. If you feel like you have a little bit of a crook in your low back, maybe you can even feel it if you feel like there's a sharp shift right there, right at the top of your pelvis to your low back, engaging the core a little bit more. We'll get a little bit more alignment and more stretch in the hip flexor. So if you're going for stretch by lifting back and not engaging the core, you're not getting as much stretch as you could be. Keeping all of the muscles engaged in the low belly, in the core, maybe even into the glute, letting the rest use gravity. Two more deep breaths here. And come back to center, coming back to our 90 degrees. We're going to clasp those hands at the top, placing our block on the outside of our right foot. As we lift up, sway off to that right side, maybe placing that hand down on the block, and then driving the hips forward as much as you would like. You're doing amazing. Oh my gosh. Look at your balance. I love it. We'll slowly come back to center, pivoting your block if you only have one like me. And realign to our 90 degrees and sway off to that left side. Maybe placing the hand down on that block and then driving the hips forward as much as you would like. Two more deep breaths. And we'll slowly come back to center, coming back to our 90 degrees. We're going to go for our revolved crescent. So from our low lunge, we'll place our hands down on either side of that front foot. If we pop that back knee up on the other side, we'll do so here, leaning into that left hand just next to our right foot, opening up that right arm up to the sky, and hold. Two more deep breaths. You're doing great, lifting that right arm up a little bit higher if we can. And exhale, release. We'll drop that back knee back down as we rotate into our peaceful warrior. We'll take our block to the outside of that left foot, lifting that right arm up to the sky and planting that hand down onto that block. Slide that right foot out, nice extension, and keep the heart nice and open. The swirls are coming out now, I love it. Driving those hips up a little bit higher. Couple more breaths. And exhale. We'll go for that interesting transition once again. So from our peaceful warrior, we're going to rotate our left foot, our left heel towards our right heel, bringing that right heel in a little bit for that added support, dropping that left hand down, right hand up, and into our side plank. Deep breaths. Couple more. You're doing great. I know this is hard. You're killing it. And exhale, rotate. We'll come all the way down to the belly, little chaturanga moment, and all the way up to our cobra. Pulling the mat towards yourself as you lengthen the spine, looking up to the sky. Couple more breaths here, pulling the mat a little bit more, lengthening even more. We'll slowly release, placing the hands on either sides of the ribs, tucking those toes under, and we're going to come all the way back into a wide-legged child's pose. So if you want to open up that blanket just a little bit more to protect those knees off the mat, feel free. We're going to stay here for a couple deep breaths, really settling in here. Tuning back into the systems of the body. Noticing your heart rate, feeling it in your body. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat through the sides of your body on your thighs. Feeling your breath, especially right there. Noticing the temperature of the body. As you breathe, is your own breath warmer or cooler than the air around you? Are there ways that you allow yourself to recover after trying moments or trying days? What does recovery look like to you or mean to you after moments that are bringing a lot of turmoil in your mind or maybe even in your body? Do you have a person that you go to, a support system? Do you have a practice aside from yoga? Maybe this is that, when you're here and present with it. Just think about that for a moment. Are there ways you allow yourself to recover after trying moments or days? Take about 3 more deep breaths here. On your next inhale, we're going to come all the way up to tabletop pose. You can tuck those toes underneath if you would like. You don't have to. We're going to take a moment of body autonomy, just moving and listening to what the body has to say. What might feel good and what feels accessible. You can throw in some cat-cow, you can throw in some hip circles, some shoulder rolls, whatever you desire here. Take another couple seconds to balance things out and slowly come back to our tabletop, stacking all of those joints. We're going to go for a slow arrow pose. We're going to start by just lifting that or sliding that right foot back. Breathe here, feeling how your weight naturally shifts into that right hand. If that still feels good and you want a little bit more, we're going to slowly lift that left hand. If you still want more, we'll begin to lift that right leg, engaging the core, aligning the hips. We'll slowly lift a little bit higher and hold. Couple more breaths, you're doing great. We'll slowly release just that leg back down. Open that left arm up to the sky, look up to those fingers. We're going to add something a little bit fun. We're going to drop down, just a gentle weave, and then we're going to open back up once more. Big lift up. And exhale. Weave all the way down, thread the needle. If your right arm feels available for you, you can take that forearm down to the low back and open that chest just a little bit more. Slowly begin to release that right arm back down to the earth and push up, unravel. We're going to pause at the top, looking up at those fingers. And exhale, release. We're going to do the other side. Aligning all of those joints. We're going to slide that left foot back, noticing how everything shifts here, how your weight feels in your hand and your knee. We'll begin to slowly lift just that right arm up. Holding here. And elevate that left leg whenever you're ready. Begin to lift a little bit higher and hold here. Three more deep breaths. You're doing great. Don't let that leg drop. You're killing it. We'll slowly release just that left leg down, opening that right arm up to the sky. Big reach. And exhale to partial weave. And lift back up, looking at those right fingers up at the sky. And exhale, weave all the way through. And maybe take that left hand to that low back. Begin to slowly unravel, releasing that left hand back down to the earth, pushing up. You're going to pause at the top, lifting that right arm up to the sky. Lifting up a little bit higher. And exhale, release. We're going to cross our legs underneath. Going for a little butterfly. We're just going to pause here for a moment. Deep breaths. Really lean into this fold. We'll tuck in just a little bit lower, deepening the shape for just a moment more. And exhale, release. We're going to come all the way to the back. Go for a little switcheroo here. I'm going to go for a figure four, squeeze in, deep breaths, little rock side to side. Big deep breath, squeeze in. And exhale, release. We'll switch it out. Figure four on the opposite side. It really doesn't matter which side. Squeezing in, little rock, little roll here. And inhale, squeeze in. And exhale, release. We're going to open the feet out to about as wide as the mat, maybe just a little bit in between the edges of your mat and your hips. Windshield wipers, one off to one side, and then knees off to the other side. We'll do 3 or 4 more on each side. Whenever you feel balanced, we're going to come back to center, squeezing those knees in just for a moment. Big hug. We're going to release those feet almost exactly hip width apart. We're going to lift our glutes up into bridge. We're going to hold here for a moment using our muscles. Maybe clasping the hands underneath. And whenever you're ready, we're going to slide either a bolster or a block underneath. You want it just above the tailbone, right at that kind of flat spot of the low back. And then we're going to kick those feet up 2 legs up the wall. Deep breaths. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. And slowly bring the knees in and return back to our bridge pose. Lifting the hips, removing your support, and coming all the way down for Shavasana. Feel free to readjust any props that you would like. Bringing in a blanket under the head, over the body, maybe a little bolster under the knees. Settling in. Returning back to the intention that you set at the beginning. In what ways do you show up for yourself in these practices? And slowly exhale. As we bring some awareness back into the body. Noticing the systems once again, how your heart rate and breath compare to before. The temperature of your body as it slowly cooled down after all of that work that you've done. Beginning to move the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles, the elbows and the knees, and eventually the hips and the shoulders by making your way towards fetal position, taking your time. Taking a few more moments of contemplation for your practice today. Considering the three questions that I asked throughout. How is your mind inhibiting trust in your body, and can you release more? How often do you push the limits of your strength in a joyful way? And third, are there ways you allow yourself to recover after trying moments or days? Returning to your intention you set at the beginning of class, if you set one, breathing that in and claiming it as you slowly sit yourself up, returning to a seated position. I'd love to close out class with 3 deep hums with you, taking a big deep breath in, feeling that vibration, maybe placing the hands on the chest or the neck. Big deep breath in. Biggest breath of the day so far. I want to thank you so much for showing up for yourself in this way today. This was not an easy flow, and you did an amazing job. You better be proud of yourself, because you should be. I do have a couple of announcements. We always have our monthly spiritual book club. This time we have a wonderful opportunity to read Sage Warrior by Valerie Kaur. We are going to get a couple of extra resources from her, as this book just recently came out. So she has some wonderful things that she's offered to us to use alongside our session, our meetup, that is totally free to attend. It's at Sequoia Community in Denver, Colorado, in the Dead Roots office in the basement. I will be there. Lovely friends will be there. Bring some snacks if you desire. Bring a friend. Please try your best to finish the book. You do not have to complete it to participate, but give it a good effort. Audiobooks count, and I can't wait to see you there. Everything that I've skimmed so far in this book has been amazing. I will be starting it later today. Today as day of filming, not day of this is being posted. I am very excited. I don't know if I said the date. June 4th, 7 p.m. at Sequoia Community. I cannot wait to see you there. Also, we have our lovely Shavasana timer. This is an Echo hydrogen flask. I want you to know I never promote anything that I don't actually use in my day-to-day. This is something I use every single morning. Cat hair in the lid, proper. This hydrogen water really helps me reground myself throughout the day, because I don't have so much pain as I used to when I didn't have it before. This helps me a lot with fibromyalgia specifically. In my recovery from workouts, from a long day, it has been such a game changer for me. I have a constant amount of inflammation with having chronic illness, and this keeps me at like a more stable baseline, so I'm a little bit more functional, especially on those harder days when I am having a lot more pain. This kind of keeps me back up and active. I highly recommend you check this out. There is a discount code in the caption below. I do make some money off of this, so I just want to disclose this. I am an affiliate, but something I am not an affiliate of that is a super kind offering just for you. Wim Hof has offered us a discount just for my viewers, just for you. If you want to check out some really beautiful breath work, getting into your cold plunges, getting into a little bit more physical activity, that is a really wonderful resource. I do Wim Hof every single day, well, almost every single day. I try. It is probably a good 5-6 days out of the week that I do a good Wim Hof session. It really helps me with my pain levels as well, and I did a little experiment. I will actually, you know what? When I get that finished, I'll post that in the caption down below. I did a little experiment a while ago, and I think I'm going to redo it and keep my records a little bit tighter, where I actually tracked my pH levels and a couple of other things. My oxygen, I used an oximeter, and my heart rate while I was doing the Wim Hof. And so I'll do 40 days and put that in the caption down below for you to look at the results. It's really incredible work. There's a lot of peer-reviewed articles that are getting released more and more about the power of the Wim Hof breathing method, as well as cold plunges. I also cold plunge every single day. I'm realizing I'm actually wearing the Reset hoodie right now. I work at Reset. This is a really great place to go check out. Also not an affiliate, I just work there. Cold plunges, saunas, the whole thing. Like if you just want to level up your health and fitness and your wellness, check out the caption below. There's some wonderful discounts just for you. Again, anything that I am an affiliate of that I do make money off of will be disclosed, such as the Echo, but Wim Hof and Reset, I am not an affiliate. I just enjoy it. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next class.